Next, ninth house Virgo Stellium. Yikes, Virgo Stellium. Man, are you okay? Because I have Virgo Mars and that's enough for me. That already drives me wild. I cannot imagine having a Virgo Stellium. Yikes. Well, the good news is whatever you devote your attention to, you're going to be really good at it. The good news is it's really easy for you to learn new information. The good news is you're probably very smart. So you're probably very good at absorbing information. You're probably also very good at teaching information to other people, simplifying it in a way that makes it palatable and easy for them to digest. So that's good. All those things are good. And you're also probably very successful at whatever you put your mind to, because one thing Virgo is going to have is the discipline, the organization needed to do what they need to do. So ninth house is like about our knowledge. It's about how we absorb new information. It's about how we educate ourselves. It's about our aptitude towards gaining information, sustaining information, processing information. So it's slightly different than third house. Third house also measures intelligence in this way, but ninth house is a little bit more about not communication, but just the information itself, if that makes sense. So third house is how we communicate information, and ninth house is how we absorb information. So you having Virgo there and also being a Virgo stellium, that's a lot. That's a lot of Mercury energy. You're probably also an excellent communicator. So all of that is good, but how are your relationships? Because I'm nervous about you. Jeez, because I feel like you probably don't like anybody. I want to know how Virgo stellium is doing out there in this world, because this world is messy. Me having Virgo Mars is enough for me. Like, it drives me insane enough. Like, it keeps me on a tightrope enough. It gets, I get in my own way enough about this. That's why I'm so tough on Virgo energy. Whenever I make videos, people think I'm like coming for Virgos, but really I'm coming for myself. I'm coming for like the person I used to be before this new version of me, because I know how bad Virgo energy gets, because I've been that person and I'm still that person at times, because Mars is how we get anything done in this world. It's literally your life force. It's how you approach anything. So my approach to any and everything is Virgo energy. So I cannot imagine being a Virgo stellium and not being like psychotic, like stressed out to the max. You know what I mean? That's a lot. So I hope you're doing okay out there, dealing with these humans and this world that we live in. It's not easy for Virgo. It's very difficult energy. Like, the inner dialogue of Virgo itself is so mean. It's so mean. Like, people think Virgo's mean. Like, imagine the stuff Virgo says to themselves that they never actually say out loud. Like, no. The meanest place in the world is in Virgo's head. It's not the stuff. It's not what Virgo said to you. It's not. That's not the meanest thing, what they said to you. It's the thoughts that they have that they don't say. And if they're having these thoughts about you, don't you think they're having them about themselves when they make mistakes? Don't you think that same stick that they like to wave at you or beat you up with, they're using it on themselves? And they're harder on themselves than they ever are on other people. So being a Virgo stellium, like, I cannot imagine like how I would stay sane, because my Mars is enough. It's enough. Like, I already need therapy. I already like have to have it to feel like mentally stable. I already have to meditate regularly to feel mentally stable because of this Virgo energy. So I cannot imagine that as a stellium. That is too much for me. And thankfully God knew that when I was made. So too much. But I'm glad, Lululemon, that you're hanging in there. You tend to stay in nature. Yeah, stay over there, because the humans will drive you insane. It's like, yeah, Virgo like wants to help, but the way Virgo wants to help is not the way that people want to get it, It's like, what are you supposed to do? This is the only way I know how to help. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm glad you have an outlet. The other thing is, if you are a Virgo, or Virgo Mars, or Virgo stellium, like, you need to be meditating regularly. Like, you need to be actively taking care of your mental health, especially if you're ruled by Mercury. The same goes for Gemini as well. Anybody ruled by Mercury, because there's just too much that goes on in here. And it's not a normal amount. I just need you to know that. It's not like an average amount of activities that go on in here. It's more than average compared to most people. So if you're not regularly getting somebody to look under your hood to see what's going on up in there, that's what therapy is about, is somebody popping up your hood and going, how the piece is functioning. Like, you need to be regularly having somebody tell you that you are sane and that you're doing okay. Or you need to be taking the time to be with yourself so you can learn to like observe what's happening in here, and be aware of what's happening in here, so you can learn to mitigate some of that with like appropriate responses. So I always tell people, if you're Virgo Mars, like myself, or if you're Virgo Stellium or Virgo Sun and you don't meditate, like, I cannot trust you because I know you're not mentally stable. I just know. I just know because I'm a Virgo Mars. I know how it goes. So it's very hard. It's very difficult because you naturally can pick things out like without even trying. You're not even trying to be mean. You just see it. And because you see it, you just speak on it. It's just naturally. Like, it just happens naturally. When you have like Virgo in a dominant position in your chart, like if you, and another placement is if you happen to have your Mars in the same, in the same as like your 8th house, it's going to empower that energy even more. So that's the other thing to watch out for. Like, Virgo notices when they put something somewhere and you moved it. So you don't think they notice all the mess that's going on around the world? They're not trying to notice. They're not trying to be mean. It's just observation. And then when they're observed, they have to process. So it's exhausting. It really is, on the brain. The blunt no BS is hard to have all the time. Yeah. And here's the other thing. The other thing that I learned is that people don't actually want it. Like, people say they want people to not lie to them and they want people to tell them the truth. But what I have learned in my years on this earth is that that is not the truth. And this is coming from a Sagittarius. We're the ultimate, like, straight shooters, no sugar coating. We can be harsh with our words without trying to be. So I understand Virgo on this level as well. But what I've learned as a Sag is that people say they want the truth, but they don't. They don't. They don't always. Maybe not everybody, but most people don't. Most people want you to like sugarcoat the truth, or they would rather you just not tell them at all because they don't want to feel uncomfortable. And you telling them the truth is going to make them feel uncomfortable. Like, there's no way for you to finesse it for them to like not be uncomfortable because they really don't want to deal with it. That's why they were avoiding it to begin with. And this is exactly why people do not like Aquarius, because Aquarius would tell you the truth. But Aquarius would tell it to you in a factual way. Like, Virgo might give it to you with some attitude because they're frustrated at this point. Because Virgo will give you grace at first before they get frustrated. And then when they get frustrated, it's like they're holding no punches, right? Sagittarius would just give it to you like haphazardly. Like, we're not trying to be mean. We just feel like it's like the elephant in the room that needs to be named. So we don't mind naming it for everybody else. Because obviously y'all are scared. We're not. So we'll name it. But Aquarius would just say it to you factually. Like, there's no feelings, they're not trying to be mean, like, there's no emotion. And that's why people don't like them, because they just speak the truth. It's like the fact is right here. And people don't like facts. They like facts that are convenient. The kind that make them feel good. The kind that make them feel like a better human being than the actual person that they are. They like those. But the ones that actually show them who they really are based on what they're actually doing, they don't like that. Not at all. And this is from my years as a therapist. I know this to be the truth. Like, people would literally pay me just to come and avoid talking about the thing that we need to talk about so they can get better. Because, yeah, change is hard. And people don't like seeing their real selves. That needs healing. That needs change. So unfortunately, that's Virgo's plight in this world. Somebody asked, what is a Virgo Stellium? A Virgo Stellium is somebody that has 3 or more placements in their natal chart with the sign of Virgo in it. And the sign of Virgo is already a difficult placement to manage. So when you have 3 or more placements of Virgo energy in your chart, it's going to amplify that energy all over your chart. And it makes you very unbearable to the rest of the other humans, even though you know that the way that you are being is the right way. It's the most helpful way. It's the way to make things better. But the other humans are not going to be receptive to that, because the truth is, not all of them are here engaging in their spiritual journey. Some of them would rather pretend not to be on a journey and just ignore their calling altogether. And Virgos is like here to engage people in the work. Virgo is saying, hey, we have work to do. This will make it better. And a lot of people, a lot of souls are here to do the work that they were sent here to do, but when they get here, they want to act like they forgot, or they don't want to do it because it's too hard, or they're lazy. And Virgo does not have any patience with people who are lazy, people who don't try, people who don't pay attention, people who don't care, people who half-ass. So Virgo will hold your feet to the fire. People don't like that. So when you're Virgo stellium, it's very difficult, because people are not going to like who you are here to be. Because people would much rather sidestep issues than look in the mirror. So you're probably an agitator. That whole poor me thing, I'm so grateful that I was a therapist before this work, because I don't know how I would be able to deal with humans, because therapy really taught me how to develop even more compassion, because sometimes people are so stuck in their own way, they don't even see that they're stuck. And you can't, as a therapist, you can't tell people that where they're at is not where they need to be, because that's where they're at. Like, they don't realize that's where they're at. You know what I mean? Like, they're not putting on a show. Like, they're really in this space of poor me, and they have no other outlook on anything. That's really where they are. Like, they think their life is the worst one ever. You know what I mean? And I'm grateful for the compassion that I've learned. But on a true, like, visceral level, my natural reaction is like, really? You really think you have the worst life on Earth? Like, literally on Earth? Like, there was literally an earthquake. Actually, 2 earthquakes recently with people suffering. You really think your life is the very worst life ever on Earth? Do you know that we live in a place filled with famine? That there's still people who go a whole day without eating? Do you know that? Do you know there are people who still don't have access to clean water? People have to walk 6-7 miles every day to have access to water. And oftentimes it's contaminated. Really? You think your life is the very worst life that there is here in this universe? Really? That's interesting. Let's talk about that some more. Do you see what I mean? It's hard for me to fake the funk. You know what I mean? And I think all earth signs have a difficult time with that in general. We're going to call you out because it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Virgo's very big on like being useful and helping others. I actually have a video about Virgo Mars, like things that I've struggled with myself personally as a Virgo Mars, that I'm going to be putting out soon, because I want like Virgos to know, like, I get it. That's probably why I'm so hard on you, is because I get it. All right. Thank you, Gabby, for being the number 2 gifter. Yay! Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right. So let me see who else has a question. But yeah, I love Virgo energy, in spite of what some of you might think. Love it, love it, love it. Virgos are literally the only people that were sent here to make us better. So how do you hate that? A lot of you aren't even like engaging in your life purpose, so you can't even hate on Virgos. It's like some of you are here for a purpose that you're completely ignoring. And you think you're just going to die and you're not going to have to do that work, which is ridiculous, because duh, you're going to have to come back and do it all over again. That's the only way it works. You don't just die and be like, yeah, good riddance. That's not how it works. We're all here to curate our souls. We all have work to do. North Node in Aquarius, what does that mean? Your North Node is your life purpose. It's your spiritual mission here on Earth. So it's basically, what are you here to do? What are you here to accomplish? It's a representation of what values, goals you should be aiming for, and even lifestyle, I would say. The best way to really get in alignment with your spiritual purpose is to surround yourself with people who have the sign of your North Node, because those are the values, the attitudes, the beliefs, the energy that you're trying to embody in this life. So your South Node is a representation of a combination of the previous lives that you've had. So it's where you excel. Your South Node will be a reflection of skill sets that you have an abundance of, skill sets that come to you naturally. Now, your North Node and South Node are generally going to be opposite. opposite of Aquarius in this case is going to be Leo. So what that tells me is that in the previous life, you embodied a lot of Leo energy. So you probably were very successful, or very famous, or had a lot of power, basically. That's a summation of that. A lot of people knew you, and a lot of people looked up to you. So in this life, you're being asked to let go of the self-centered nature of that energy, which, Leo energy is about. Leo energy is about like validation. That's really where like a lot of the self-esteem comes from, is the applause. So Aquarius is just like Leo, but the only difference is Aquarius doesn't necessarily do it for themselves. They do it for the community. Leo does it for themselves, for the applause, and Aquarius does it for humanity, for the community, for the world. So Aquarian North Node, you're being asked to be more generous. You're being asked to be somebody who volunteers more. You're being asked to be somebody who's more of a humanitarian, someone who cares about other people's well-being, someone who's devoted to causes, missions, activities that better humanity as a whole. So if you have your North Node in Aquarius and your Sun sign in Aquarius, then assuming the aspects are positive, it shouldn't really be a difficult, spiritual mission to master. But that's basically it. It's like, how do we use our personal sense of power to empower other people? How do we use that to make the world a better place? Depending on the aspect, and in astrology, the aspect is like, how are they positioned? So it's like, there's a sign that is like your North Node, or there's a sign that is your Sun sign. But the aspect is, how do they relate to each other? So it's more about like the crossroad of those two things. So when you think about, oh, Tanya, thank you so much. Welcome. I appreciate you being here. Thanks for all of my roses. So when you're thinking about the aspect, you're thinking about how they're positioned, how do they relate to each other? Are they in opposition? Do they go together nicely? Do they make each other expand? Do they make each other even better? So a lot of times it's not enough just to know what the sign is. It's also important to understand what the aspect is, because that aspect is going to tell you a lot about how easy or difficult it's going to be for you to master that spiritual mission here on Earth.
You can book your astrology reading at intuitivehealing.com. You can also watch videos at Intuitive Healing here on YouTube for Astrology 101 content. Listen to the Aquarius podcast on Spotify, as well as here on YouTube for your horoscope. If you're interested in astrology and love connections, you can visit at Styled Under Libra. And of course, for health and wellness and holistic healing, visit at Styled Under Virgo for all of your astrology content. Thanks so much for watching.